Okay, we are live on YouTube, live via Facebook, through YouTube. How are you guys today? Today is, as I'm recording, is March 23rd. I just want to thank you guys, first of all, for all the love and support we're getting in the Iowa Hawkeye Sports Facebook page. 2,200 people now, guys. That's 2,200 people. I never dreamed when we started that page that we could get that many people supporting and coming on there. So just keep sharing it with your friends. Um, we'll keep trying to do some content, good content on there. So for you. So today I wanted to just quickly wrap up the winter season. And so it didn't go as we wanted. Um, Starting with the men, we'll go in order. Okay, starting with the men who bowed out in the first round to Richmond. None of us saw that coming. As painful as it is, I think many of us thought this was a Sweet 16 team. Um, and many of the national pundits thought that this team could go to the Final Four and make some noise. And this team was built for a run. Um, but when you only, yeah, but when you go ice cold from shooting from the field, that happens. You get beat. Iowa only scored 63 points. They average 80 some points a game. Um, and so they held their opponent to like 67 points. So, guys, Iowa did what it had to do defensively. They just didn't get it done offensively. Season's over. Now the speculation begins. Who's going? Who's coming back? Um, we know for sure Jordan's gone. Bohannon he has no more eligibility. He's not coming back. Connor can come back and use his COVID season if he so chooses. Um, I don't think that's a bad move if he wants to do some graduate work at the school or if he wants to get into some coaching. Maybe it's time. Maybe he could be a grad assistant coach for his dad. I don't know. Um, Connor's got some thinking to do. Uh, so that being said, we don't know what Connor if he's coming back or not. The big one on the board is everybody is sure is gone is Keegan. Keegan Murray. Not so fast. Um, his dad came out, and it may be a little smoke screen, but everybody knows Kenyon. Said that this decision wouldn't be about money if Keegan decided to leave or stay. And he's more or less said that Keegan hasn't decided yet. We do expect Keegan to explore his opportunity, though. Make that announcement that he's going to explore the NBA draft. I mean, he'd be foolish not to. That's he could still it still leaves the door open whether he comes back or not. I think the key here is Chris. Does Chris come back or not? Does Chris feel like he wants to take his shot at the NBA too, and maybe end up with a in the Gatorade League, the G League? Um, did they still call it that? Okay, the G League, yeah. All right, and that's probably where Chris would go. I believe that if Chris comes back next year, he is poised for a breakout year. But I don't see him getting the kind of Keegan numbers. Also, Patrick McCaffrey, coming back next year. I mean, that's almost for sure. As long as he stays healthy, I see him having a huge breakout year as well. And there are rumors that Iowa has dipped into the transfer portal and is looking at a center from a college called Utah Valley, and his numbers look very good. The guy looks very big. It looks like he can handle the physicality. He's 6'11", and looks like he can handle the physicality of the Big Ten. Um, and so, if that's true, that would help out a lot with all the dominating centers that the Big Ten has. Um, but Iowa proved, in their run in the championship that just because you have a dominating center and you don't have one of your own, that you can still beat them, and which Iowa did against Purdue. Okay, so other than that we talked about already. I don't know if anybody else is in danger of leaving. Well, Ash is leaving because he's used up his eligibility too. He's gone. But other than that, it's just speculation now, and and I don't want to do anything because every year somebody surprises us and enters the transfer portal, or friend dips in and buys somebody, not buys somebody, but gets somebody out of there. So okay, that's where the men are at. Okay, all right. And then Saturday, our men's wrestling team took a disappointing third. I mean, when the season started, Hawkeye fans were thinking Big Ten championships and national champions as repeat. Okay. As the season wore on, I think most of us knew that probably wasn't going to happen, but could happen. It could happen if some of the breaks fell Iowa's way during these tournaments, but which they didn't. Um, I think Iowa had injuries to 4 or 5 of their starters in wrestling, the key guys. And so that hurt Iowa. So now when I look back on it, and you look back and you think, well, they took third in the nationals, and they had an awful lot of hurt guys trying to hurt, and they had one guy try to wrestle with no ACL, just like Spencer Lee did a year ago. And so that in itself kind of hurt. All right. So I believe it was figured out Iowa could have won the national championship easily this year if Spencer Lee had been there, and I forget who it was that which guys. Okay, I'm doing this off of memory, but the one that had his ACL, Ironman had his ACL torn. He was supposed to be a national champ this year coming into the season too. Okay, and all that just kind of like faded on him because of his injury. So if you figure that if Spencer Lee's there at 125 and not Drake Ayala, Spencer gets all the way to the title game and probably wins his championship match. The same with Ironman. He probably gets all the way to the title match, and has a chance to win his championship match. That's 43 points that was figured out. I believe another wrestling reporter figured out that had Iowa had those two guys full, either there or fully healthy, they lost. That cost them 43 points. If they add that 43 points to the third place standing, that puts them ahead of Penn State. Okay. It also probably means Penn State didn't get as many points because I'm sure that both Spencer and Drake would have run into Penn State players along the way and eliminated them, or at least got more points than they did. So I think I'm going to call it the Spencer Lee factor is the reason why Iowa didn't perform to what we thought they would. I mean, like we said, right now, third place is fantastic considering all the injuries. When Iowa comes back next year fully healthy, and they will have quite a few new faces on the mat, which we could go over if you want to real quick, and I will go over that. A guy with a blog, and I posted it on my website. He has his theories about who's going to take what spots, and you can read that article on the Iowa Hawkeye Sports page in Facebook. Okay. So anyway, I think Spencer Lee is just like the firebug. I mean, he gets out there, he's aggressive, he gets his points, he gets his major decisions or pins, and that kind of like fires up the team behind him too. When they see him and all that energy he has. So all the energy he has probably was affected last year and helped the guys last year do better. And so that given, I wanted to do I'm going to go real quick. I'm going to see if I can find that article real quick and share parts of it with you, but I encourage you to read it. It's a lengthy article. The guy did a very, very great job of it. And so there we go. All righty. Did a very good job of this. And okay, so next year, this is his projection. And this guy's name is what was his name? Todd Connor, I think. Let me go back because I want to give this guy credit because this is his doings, not mine. Okay, Todd Connor is the one that um, wrote this, and I love what he's doing. He really takes a quick, in-depth look, and I'm not going to go into depth because I don't have time here. But at 125, he's got Spencer Lee, hopefully coming back in. Like we said, it's no guarantee that Spencer Lee is going to be able to come back and wrestle, after having ACL surgery. But I wouldn't put it past him that he tries, and so that would speculate that, and like I said on some websites, that if Spencer Lee takes the 125 position, Tricaela will go redshirt. And so, okay, at 133, he feels the front runner is Colin Shriver. So that looks, based on what he wrote here, that looks to be pretty good to me too. And at 141, Wyatt Henson. So you guys see, we're getting all kinds of new names up here. Henson is from Pennsylvania, and he be a redshirt freshman next year. So, but he's done some good things at 141 as the redshirt, and so Wyatt Henson at 141 is a name to remember. Okay, we got Max Mirin coming back for his senior season. So Max is I I like Max Mirin, although I just feel like he's not lived up to his potential so far. But I like this guy, and if he's fully healthy and ready to go, this guy could kick butt and he could have a great year next year. Okay, at 157, there seems to be a lot of people vying for this job. Kalen Rathshin, Kobe Cybrick, that's how you say it. Brett Lee Rena. Guys, I'm sorry, I'm butchering these names really bad. And Aiden Higgins. These guys, there's just four guys competing for this spot next year. So I don't know much about these guys. Okay, so I really don't know much about these guys. But Todd goes into full detail about each one of these guys, and there we go. And then at 165, Patrick Kennedy. I guess he's going to be, according to Todd, he's the most anticipated newcomer to the varsity lineup next season. He was the top recruit out of the class of 2020 out of Minnesota. And he had a 17-2 record this season with 3 pins and 6 tech falls. Wow. Yeah. That's my kind of wrestler. It sounds like he's really, really aggressive. And I like the wrestlers that just want to keep adding up points and just keep them coming. Keep them coming. So that sounds like he's going to be my type of wrestler next year. At 174, Nelson Brands is expected to return to the starting lineup. He'd been out with an injury. I did not know that he had been out with an injury most of the year, and so I just thought he lost the starting position. That's all I thought. Okay, Abe Assad will be back at 184. He'll be a junior, and another year under his belt, he's going to be fully improved, guys. Okay. And then we got Jacob Warner, this year's runner-up at NCAA at 197. He'll be back. Let's hope that he gets a really good shot again, gets the national title game and a match again, and this time gets to win it. But you got to like what he did. He doesn't wrestle my style. I'm not like it's not the style I like when I see a wrestler, but apparently it's effective. It got him to the runner-up position this year. And then Tony Caspi is going to be back with at heavyweight this year. I did not realize that he did have injuries because he had a medical forfeit in the Big Tens, but so so I don't know. They're talking about here too that Todd thinks they might use the transfer portal and see if they can get some other people here too. So I'm going to move on because I don't want to spend all day on this. So on the wrestling, because I want to put a bow on it. And then, okay, so now let's bow up the women's season. Caitlin did not have one of her better games. I mean, she still had, she still was there. She still was effective. But who would have thought that the person who would knock out the Hawkeyes out of the run to the Sweet 16 and upset by Creighton would have been Laura Jensen, former Hawkeye, with 19 points. I think she had an assist there too. Not sure how she got away from Iowa, but it's easy to see with all the playing time these guys get. They say she's a point guard, so that would be Caitlin's spot. And so, yeah, she wasn't going to get a ton of playing time behind Caitlin, unfortunately. But she could have also, with that 3-point shooting ability. I don't know if that's normal for her or not. I don't watch her much, and um, but did she take Gabby's place on the field? It's hard to imagine if she could come in there and play better than Gabby um, on the off guard spot where Marshall is just can be deadly on those 3 points. It just didn't happen. These guys played some great defense against our Hawkeyes and really bottled up Caitlin. And it just makes me wonder if Caitlin's not on, can Iowa win games without her? You know, um, because this was a game where Monica Sonano and Caitlin were actually there for a while. They were doing more of the points scoring and everything else, and then it was just hard for Caitlin to get away and do some of the things that she likes to do. But they missed, just like the men, a couple nights earlier. They missed an awful lot of easy shots, easy lay-ins. Even Caitlin missed some easy lay-ins, and I just think this team normally just they're really fun to watch, and they don't let things get to them. And I thought they were just going to pull away in the fourth quarter, and what happened was just the opposite. Um, we did get the lead in the fourth quarter. We had the lead with seconds to spare, but they just couldn't play the defense that they needed to play and guard Jensen, who pulled up and got the game winner. So, but yeah, but that team is exciting. Every person, including Monica Sonano, will be back next year. I don't know what that says for recruiting for Iowa women, because that means there's a lot of talent sitting on that bench. For the third year in a row, the entire starting five are coming back for 3 years. This is the third year in a row. Next year will be the third year in a row that the entire starting offense is back. So, how crazy is that? All right. So their season's done, and I expect them to come out as a top 5 team next year, and I just expect good things. And with the team fully healthy, no injuries, no COVID issues, this team, because they got slowed down at the kind of beginning, early part of the season, and so I they'll be back stronger than ever. And as far as the wrestling team, I believe they'll be strong next year again. They'll be contention again. The men, I don't know yet. I want to see who's coming back and who's not before I make any prediction there. But the pieces are there. Perkins is there. Toussaint's there. If these guys come back, um, I'm not convinced that Euless will come back because after in the middle of the season, after contributing a lot, as the season wore down, they weren't using him much. Um, they definitely have. If Chris Murray comes back, they definitely need to use him more. They definitely got to keep him on the floor more, and I can see this being the Chris and Patrick show next year. So we're going to move on for that. Today, I believe today starts spring football or tomorrow. Okay, and let's go over the two deeps. Kirk Ferentz at in a couple of hours, at 1 p.m. Central Time, has a press conference which you can watch live on YouTube if you want to. I was gonna wait until after he spoke, but I wanted to get this out so I can get on with my day because I got a lot of things going on. But so let me. There's the preview. Iowa releases its depth chart. I also posted this morning on Iowa Hawkeye Sports. You guys can catch it there. And so let's start. Let's see what surprises we think we found. Okay. All right. Quarterback starter Spencer Petras, not a surprise. Second string Alex Padilla, no surprise. Third string Joey Lebeas. There is no surprises here, guys. However, what I keep hearing is that the coaches were really impressed with Lebea's work ethic, which, despite what Deuce Hogan may have said when he left, may be the reason why he actually left, because Lebeas might have been passing him up in practice. We don't know. We'll never know for sure the real reason why he left. We know what his mom wrote publicly, but from what we're hearing, Lebeas is making a lot of noise. My prediction would be if Spencer starts this year, Lebeas starts next year, and Alex Padilla will leave after the spring session. So that would be my speculation, but I'm not going to get into that. Running back, fullback. Do they not have any other running backs on campus right now? Because, Gavin Williams is considered the starter, which is not to be surprised there, because after his performance in the bowl game last year, that would be his spot. And LaShawn Williams as his second, which that is the case. But do we not have any other running backs in camp? Because, it's just these two listed right now. Whereas at fullback, we got Monty Pottebaum. Now, no surprise there. Turner Pilizard, no, as the second, no surprise there. And they actually listed a third stringer named Mike Tim. Guys, Mike Tim, I don't know anything about this guy, but he must be being impressive in order to have a third string, because this is only one of a couple positions where they put three people listed on a line for the thing. Okay, we all know that Tyler Goodson's gone, and guys, he was kicking it in the combines. It sounds like he's kicking it in pro day. This guy's going to get drafted, despite what everybody thinks, and they think he's not ready. This dude is ready. God, he has bulked up so much. I can't wait to watch him in the NFL this year coming up. Okay. So they consider the Williams guys as thunder and lightning, or lightning and lightning. No, okay, wait a minute. Okay, I see what it says. The article says they're thunder and thunder, or lightning and lightning. They run similar. Okay. So we're gonna move past that. You guys already know. Okay. Wide receiver 1, starter Keegan Johnson, and the backup Jackson Ritter. You guys know that Jackson Ritter is a walk-on, and the fact that at the end of the season he was getting more touches than Tryon Tracy tells you a lot about Jackson Ritter. That is what you need to know, because everybody thought that Tyrone Tracy was going to have a huge year last year, which we all thought. There was nobody who didn't think different, including himself. And admittedly so, even when they went to the Big Tens in the summer, it was almost, this is his team. He's going to have a huge breakout year, but it didn't happen. It didn't happen, guys. And now he's going to be over catching balls for Purdue. And I just pray that he doesn't have a great game. I wish him the best at Purdue. I just don't want him having a good game against Iowa, unfortunately. Which, he could easily have, because who knows Iowa defense better than him, because he had to go against it every day in practice. So, there's a possibility that he could burn Iowa next year. Okay. Okay, so at wide receiver 2, Nico Regini. I didn't even know he was coming back, guys. I thought he was gone. Okay, and then the backups are listed as Charlie Jones and Arlen Bruce IV. No surprises there. These guys were the main targets at the end of the year, at the end of the season. These guys were getting all the targets, and so, and everybody likes what Keegan can do. He's the deep threat downfield. Get him the ball, and he's just going to go deep threat. Give Arlen Bruce the ball short and let him make some plays, is what it looks like. They are going to do, guys. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Arlen Bruce do some wildcat Wildcat and actually either throw from it or hand the ball off or just take and run with it. This guy can do everything. The guy can quarterback, he can run, he can catch. Guys, this is a superstar in the making, and you guys saw that at the end of the season. Unfortunately, because those guys were freshmen, um, they were having a hard time at the end of the year, especially in the bowl games and against Michigan, of really shaking loose of their defenders. You know, but I could see Keegan Johnson. Next year. I'm looking forward because I think this is going to be more of a vertical passing game this year. Iowa usually passes side to side or short out front in the middle. But I could see Iowa going downfield with Keegan, if they can just do a lot more with him. And I'm excited to see, and that's not really a change of pace offense. It's just we have a guy, they've always tried going downfield with guys, but now we have a guy who I think can actually catch the ball. Now we just have to make sure that he and Spencer are on the same page. So hopefully he and Spencer will spend the whole summer running routes and getting their timing down. Okay. Reganey, he's always been clutch, reliable, but it just seems like for the last couple seasons he's not been the Reganey that we fell in love with that at the Holiday Bowl, who was and stuff that who helped win the Holiday Bowl. And of course, we all know what Jones can do, and you got to like his tenacity. He's not conservative. He's not. And I think that's the reason why he's out there, because he's not scared to make something happen. Yeah, once in a while, does he have a screw up? Yeah, he does. But more than anything else, Charlie Jones is out there, and whether he's doing a punt return, a kickoff return, or a catch in the field, he's very, very aggressive, and he's not scared, and he usually sacrifices his body. Okay. They're calling Arlen Bruce a Swiss Army knife, which that would be good. I could see that. Okay. Tight end, no surprises there. Sam Laporta's back, as is Luke Lachey. They're looking at this transfer that they brought in, named Steven Delanos, but he won't be on campus until this summer, so we don't know much about him. But the fact that they brought him in is more for, like, I think, a blocking tight end, because I think the knock on Sam and Luke is that they're not great at times at blocking, and you guys know how the blocking went this year on the offensive line, and and the tight ends, if they're not part of the catching play, they also have to be part of the blocking play. Okay. Okay. Yeah, blocking is where they were inconsistent last year, and they believe Stellanos will help out with that. Okay, our offensive line may look a little bit different this year, but there are a lot of familiar names up there. Left tackle is Mason Richmond. He'd be back up by David Davidkoff. I'm finally going to see David Davidkoff this year. Yeah. Left guard starter would be Justin Britt, and his backup will be Bo Stevens. Center is Tyler Ellsbury. I believe he is considered the starter, but don't be surprised if Logan Jones gets in there. They're bringing him, I think, from a defensive end to make him a center, which means they probably see a lot of Tyler Linderbaum in him. So wouldn't be surprised to see Logan Jones win that spot too, but he's got spring and summer camp to win that over. Okay. Oh yeah, and the other backup for center would be Matt Fagan. Okay. Right guard starter Connor Colby, backup Josh Volk, right tackle Jack Plum, backup Nick DeJong. So those guys are familiar names there too. Cody Entz would have been a starter this year, but he decided to retire from football, and so I'm going to keep going on the defensive line here. Left defensive end would be John Wagner, back up by Max Llewellyn. So you guys can see there's a lot of familiar names. A lot of these people have already been starters or backups. Noah Shanahan, back up by Lucas Van Ness. Right defensive tackle starters Logan Lee, back up by Yawa Black. Um, right defensive end Joe Evans, and back up by Dante Craig. So, guys, so far you've seen a lot of familiar names. So, a lot of these guys have had experience either as starters or as backups already. So, linebacking crew might change up a little bit. Might be some different names in here, like this Jack Campbell's back at middle linebacker, and he'd be back up by Jay Higgins, and the other linebacker spot is Seth Benson, backed up by Kyler Fisher. I can't remember if Kyler Fisher played last year. The Leo, when that means when they're in the 4-3, the starter will be Justin Jacobs. At cash, that means their 4-2-5 lineup. Starter is Sebastian Castro. But I like this one. His backup is Logan Klemp. I like Logan Klemp. He's out of South Hamilton High School, out of Jewel, Iowa. And I've had the opportunity, I've said this before, I had the opportunity to watch him play many games because the quarterback on his team, their senior year, worked for me. And so I went to a lot of their games, and they didn't pass the ball but 3 or 4 times all year, because Logan Klemp not only played linebacker in this team, or he also or safety, or I want to say, but he also played their running back, and he ran the ball for lots of yards. So I think if Iowa ever got in running back trouble, Logan could actually fit the bill to help out. But yeah, Logan was listed on the two deeps last spring too, and I got really excited. Apparently, he got passed up by a lot of people, but Dane Belton's gone, and so you never know what you're going to get. And Logan, I hope you, if you're listening to this, I hope you make it. I hope you finally get your chance to play it regularly, whether it's as a backup or as a starter or a backup. But Logan, your time has come. You're a senior. Okay, left corner starter is these are our cornerbacks. Okay, left starter at the cornerback left corner is Jamari Harris. No surprise. Backup by Cooper Jean. Again, the familiar names. Right corner, Riley Moss is back. And then you got backup. His backup is Terry Roberts, a guy who was starting in Riley Moss's place when Riley was hurt, and then Terry got hurt. And so I like Terry Roberts' tenacity. I love that, man. He hits hard, and don't get in his way, because you might come out of a broken up. You know. And they could move Roberts to where Jamari Harris is listed as a starter right now to the other side. I mean, Roberts is that good, and he'll see a lot of playing time on the field. So, it's going to be okay. They're going to be okay there. All right, safeties. Quentin Schulte as free safety, backed up by Jackson Rexroth. Now that's new name to me. And strong safety, Kevon Merriweather and Sebastian Castro. So those two names are not unfamiliar. Those guys have all seen playing times as with Quinn Schulte. Jackson Rexroth is the only new name I see on there. But guys, let's not count out what Xavier. I don't even know how to say his last name. Is it Nakapa? Nakapa? Okay. Or known as the X guy, just plain X on some people. Yeah. He could make a push, guys. He could make a push to fill that spot. And this would be the spot would really be the spot vacated by corner this year. And you know how well corner did last year. He did fantastic. And so, but yeah, look for the X Man to get in there next year. Okay. Our specialist, our kicker. Looks like this year our field goal kicker will be Aaron Bloom, and his backup will be Lucas Amaya. Don't know anything about those guys. I don't. But our punter will be Tory Traylor, who's back for a third season. We all know what he can do. I mean, his backup is Nick Phelps. Our punt returner is Charlie Jones. Our kick returner is Charlie Jones or Gavin Williams. Our long snapper is Luke Elkin and um, Liam Reardon. So, uh, but I guess Aaron Bloom and Lucas Amaya are both listed as starting kickers. So, um, also don't count out Drew Stevens. He's an early enrollee, and I guess he could probably earn this job just as well as anybody else. So I just wanted to give a quick rundown with spring practice starting today. Hopefully you catch Kirk Ferentz's press conference. I'll try to catch it later today, this morning actually. But I want to get out of here, and I got to go get some glasses fixed. These are reading glasses, guys. My regular glasses broke, but I don't really need glasses to see long distance or normal distances. I just need them for reading in up close vision. So that's why the reading glasses are on right now. And so I need them. So I have to stop by my eyeglass place to see if I can get them fixed. It doesn't look like it. It looks like I might have to get whole new frames, which I hope is not true. Because the only part is on there is it's basically a clear lens with just a bifocal underneath to help me read. To help me read when I'm up there closer, because when I had eye surgery, of course, guys, I lost vision in this eye and got it taken out and replaced with a ocular eye. And so this eye got surgery on it, the cataract surgery, when we put in a lens. So I went from being nearsighted to farsighted with it. And for another couple of $1,000s, I could have had them insert another lens into my eye that would have allowed me to read. The thing is at that time, I didn't know that I'd be going through everything I went through with the left eye. So I declined it. I may have, someone had told me and predicted, hey, you're going to lose your left eye, I might have gone with it, because it's been nothing but a headache since then. I mean, I'd almost rather wear regular glasses for vision now than trying to struggle to read sometimes with a pair of bifocals, because sometimes it doesn't always clear, especially with one eye. But that's a story for another day. You can hear that complete story on one of my weight loss healthy journey videos, which is on my same group of videos, same channel. You probably have to go all the way to number 1 to find it. So that being said, we're going to get out of here, move on, and spring. We're looking forward to spring football right now, starting today. And so we'll try to do another update as the season goes on that. I will be back soon with some softball and baseball stuff, because that season's going on and we don't want to forget those people as they do their spring sports. There's also track, I believe, going on, and I'm not much of a track person, but I will try to do some track updates for you as well, because we're getting after the next 4 weeks after spring football's over. We're in a dead period, guys, for Hawkeye Sports. So the only thing we've got right now probably going for us is softball, baseball, track, and probably golf. I'll have to look up, see what else is going on. And I think spring soccer for the women is going on. I'll have to look that up too. So, yeah. As I said, this is Iowa Hawkeye Sports. So, I don't want to just limit it to basketball and football. Like a lot of the pages just limit to basketball, football, and maybe a little wrestling. I want to hit them all, guys. I want to hit them with regularity, and so we've got we're getting close to dead period for Hawkeye Sports, but it's coming. But we'll survive it, and we'll look forward to the next new year for the men's basketball, women's basketball, the men's wrestling. I just have a feeling that we're going to have some bounce back seasons for the women for sure, for the wrestling for sure. The men, I'm taking a wait and see attitude. I didn't predict the men would win 25 or 26 games this year and win the Big Ten tournament title. I had them as an NIT team, and somewhere around 8th or 9th in the Big Ten to pick, and I was totally wrong. So I'm not going to go out on a limb and say the same thing because this team might surprise me. You never know. So I'm out, and leave some comments if you really want to. I'll always find your comments and comment back later. Otherwise, share this video with your Hawkeye friends and follow, like, subscribe, whatever you got to do. Let's get my numbers up, guys. Let's get them up. I'm looking forward to it. We're slowly building, but not fast enough. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I want to build this as quickly as possible. And so if you guys can help me out with that, I'd appreciate it. And I'm going to get out now. So I'm ending my stream.